Yeah, so I'm Dreyer. I'm a member at large on the SIG Plan Executive Committee, and I'm here to present the award for Most Influential Paper of ICFP 04. Before I do that, I want to make two quick announcements. So first of all, how many of you actually know what the SIG Plan Executive Committee is? Yeah, that's what I thought. So I just wanted to quickly give you just mention what we are and what we do. This is the current makeup of the SIG Plan Executive Committee. We've been this team has been together since 2000. We voted in 2012, and basically you can think of it as us as a sort of steering committee for SIG Plan activities as a whole. We meet 3 times a year, and we sort of discuss many issues that arise in the SIG Plan community, and we try to evolve the SIG Plan official policies about various things. We also are in charge of budgets and PAC funding and award committees. One thing I want to mention is basically that currently we actually have very good representation from ICFP on the SIG Plan Executive Committee. So the 4 people I just highlighted here are who I would call sort of hardcore ICFP types. They're here, all 4 of us, at this ICFP. And so the thing I wanted to say is just that our term is up soon. Some of us may be sticking around on the committee. Some of us, I'm stepping down, at least. I think probably Phil is stepping down. Yeah. We're looking for new volunteers. And so what I wanted to say is just please consider running for election next year. It's actually a really interesting thing to serve on this committee. And I felt it's opened my eyes to a lot of issues I didn't really know about before. So if you're interested, come talk to one of the 4 of us. We're here and happy to tell you about what's involved. The second thing I wanted to mention was just concerning awards. So SIG Plan gives out a number of awards. Some are the Most Influential Paper Awards, which I'll get to in a sec. The other ones are things like the Achievement Award and the Robin Milner Award, etc. And for these awards that I've listed here, these are the ones, this is the recap of the awards that were given out earlier this year at PLDI. So for these, we rely solely on nominations from the community. And we get some nominations for some of the awards. It's pretty good, like the Dissertation Award usually gets quite a few nominations, but we really could use more. We only get a handful for most of these awards. So please consider nominating, submitting nominations. It's not hard, and we'd love to see more nominations, for example, from the ICFP community. We do see some, but we could always see more. And the nominations deadline is January 5th, and you can nominate it through this awards portal at awards.sigplan.org. Okay, so those are the 2 nominations. The 2 announcements. So now on to the award for the Most Influential Paper of ICFP 04. So just to give you a little background, every year SIG Plan gives out awards for the paper that was deemed most influential from the conference POPL, PLDI, ICFP, and UPSLA from 10 years prior. And so this year, the award for Most Influential Paper of ICFP 04 goes to Scrap More Boilerplate, Reflection Zips and Generalized Casts by Ralph Lemmel and Simon Payne-Jones. So I'm going to read the citation first, and then I'll let the author speak. In their TLDI 2003 paper, Lemmel and Payne-Jones introduced Scrap Your Boilerplate, SYB, a simple but powerful design pattern for generic programming in Haskell. SYB introduced a library of strategic combinators which one could use to compose generic custom traversals of complex data structures, such as syntax trees or XML documents. It was not initially clear, however, whether SYB would scale to handle more traditional applications of generic programming, such as serialization, deserialization, and generic equality, which require a form of reflection. The author's subsequent ICFP 04 paper significantly extended their original SYB library with support for reflection, zips, and generalized casts, thus demonstrating the applicability of SYB to a much broader range of generic programming tasks. This broad applicability, combined with the ease with which programmers could pick up and use the library, led to its adoption in numerous Haskell developments and contributed greatly to the burgeoning interest in statically typed, practically usable libraries for generic programming over the past decade. So let's thank the authors.
So thank you. As you know, that the big thing about ICFP and functional programming is it's all about the power of ideas. So it's a real thrill to get an award like this. Thank you. I thought I'd just give you two reflections about the way this paper came to be. And here's one: the power of an unequal partnership. This paper arose because I read several papers that Ralph wrote, and I couldn't understand them. And indeed, the types in them were so weird, I suspected that GHC might have a bug in the type checker that allowed these programs to run at all. But no, I could not discover the bug. So in the event, I invited Ralph to Cambridge, and we spent hours boiling this vat of ideas, and we boiled, steam filled the room, and eventually, at the bottom of the saucepan was this small pearl, and that's what turned into this paper. So it was my role in this was to simply stand there and say, Ralph, it can't be that complicated. We have to make it simpler. And so an unequal partnership, really good. That's what the first thing. Second thing is a somewhat wry and sad observation is the awesome power of a snappy title. I learnt this from Theorems for Free, and I think this is perhaps the only time in my professional life in which I can claim to have offered serious competition to Phil Wadlow on this particular front. Thank you.
Yeah, just a few words. Indeed, I didn't understand the title. When Simon proposed it, I had to really Google it up and learn some English proper. Yeah, but I also want to thank you very much. I'm really excited to get this award together with Simon. And I also want to thank a few co-workers back then who helped me to get this idea. I mean, of course, I was inspired by all this work on generic functional programming, like Johan Euring's or Ralph Hinz's work and others. But I was also inspired by work from the term rewriting community, like collaboration with Ilko Visser and Joost Visser, Mark van Brandt, Christopher Woof. And I think this was also the reason that this particular form of generic functional programming, because it was really using inspiration from different fields, worked out so well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to now pass the mic to Björn.